Hey guys, how's it going? Right, so as you can see, this is a video what I've been playing, and from the title you can see there are two games to talk about, which I did promise I'd make a video about. I've just finished Max Payne 3, so today I'm going to talk about Spec Ops The Line and of course Max Payne 3. Finished Max Payne 3 this morning, so that's fresh in my mind. So yeah, so basically just crack straight into it. First up, Spec Ops The Line. Now this game, I was really looking forward to it when it first got announced, and I saw the odd video here and there as development went on. It looked like a really great game, and I thought it was going to be really interesting. I liked the setting of Dubai. I thought the storyline was really dark and interesting, and the characters looked good. And then they released the demo, played the demo. I thought the demo was good. I enjoyed it. However, there were issues that I had with the sound effects, as far as I felt like the guns just didn't feel powerful. They felt like pop guns. There wasn't, I don't know, I just don't think they got the sound effects right at all. There wasn't enough power behind them, and it just sort of like dropped me out of the game a little bit, I thought. But I still liked the demo. I thought it was great. I thought the level design looked good, the characters seemed decent, and the gunplay was okay. It wasn't perfect, but it was okay. So I was looking forward to getting the game. Now I played the full game. Yeah, I've still got the issue with the sound effects. I don't think they're good enough. They need to be more powerful on the guns. Because, you know, some games you get this. Some games the sound effects are just okay, like this one. Then other games you get really powerful sound effects that really, you know, make you feel like you're firing a gun. And I didn't feel that with Spec Ops. It was just too lightweight for me, unfortunately. I really liked the graphics in the game. I thought it was really nice. There's a great job on Dubai. It looks beautiful. The sand looks fantastic. The animations, the capture of the characters looks really good. The audio in general was excellent, except for obviously the sound effects on the guns were a bit lightweight, but yeah, I mean all that was really good. I thought the story started off really well, and it had a lot of promise. It was very dark very quickly, and I was like getting a bit disturbed. I was like, well, where is this going exactly? And I wasn't too sure, but I had a feeling of where the game was going to go as I progressed, and what the ending would be, the outcome. And as you play the game, you do have to make decisions. There are certain sections where they give you a choice. You can do A or B, and then the game diverts depending on what you choose. So I made the decisions that I thought were the right ones, the moral decisions. I am going to play it for a second time and make the opposite decision and see what that does, see how it affects the story. But I just thought overall the story started off really well. From the middle through to the end, it sort of lost its way, and to me it felt as if the writers really weren't too sure where they were going with the storyline, and they weren't sure how they were going to tie it up. And the problem is you've got two different types of storylines, because depending on the decisions you make. So the second time I play through, I would assume get a different ending. So maybe that ending's going to be better than the one I had. But the one I got was just a bit of like, meh, don't really care. I really did. That's the biggest problem I had. I started off really enjoying it. By the end of the game, I didn't really care about the characters. I didn't really care what happened in the storyline. I wasn't that bothered about the civilians in Dubai. I just lost all contact with it. It became to me like a very generic third-person cover shooter, and it was just something, you know, you've played a million times before. Not to say it's bad, because it is, and it plays really well. And you know, story aside, the gameplay is just solid. I mean, the aiming's a little off, and I messed with the sensitivity up and down. It was just all over the shop. It was either too loose or too tight, and I found it really difficult. But I got there in the end. I lowered it right down to the minimum setting to make it really stiff. It was the only way I could fire my guns properly and hit things. The environmental interaction, where you shoot windows out and sand falls down, a big thing was made out of that when they were making the game, and it doesn't really get used that much. You know, it's not as big as I thought it would be in the game, so that was a little disappointing. I thought the characters themselves, I thought this is where it gets interesting. Captain Walker, who's voiced by Nolan North, as you'll all know, is Nathan Drake, and has done absolutely stacks of work in the gaming industry across God knows how many games. You know, he's a really big player in the voiceover and the acting. I think Lukey Wookie, if I remember rightly, Lukey Wookie said that he felt Nolan North was a bit off on this one, and I would agree with that, because he was. I felt like he started out really strong at the beginning of the game, and from the middle to the end, I wasn't entirely certain if it was just that there was bad dialogue that he'd been given, or that he just didn't care and he just took the piss at the end and just gave up, because it just felt to me like he wasn't even trying. And the dialogue when you're actually playing the game, not in the cutscenes, in the actual gameplay, where they're shouting at each other. It's ridiculous. You got Nolan North just screaming at the top of his lungs for no reason. There's profanity which just makes me laugh, because usually in games, if it's excessive swearing, I find it offensive, really. I find it really childish and pathetic and unnecessary. In this game, I just found it absolutely hilarious, because it was just so badly done and so badly executed by Nolan North and the other actors. And it was just really hammy, and you just couldn't take it seriously. It was really silly. Things they would shout when you shoot people, like, got the effer. I'm not going to say the word, but yeah, it was really shit, and I didn't appreciate it at all. I thought the supporting characters, Lugo and Adams, I thought Lugo was really irritating. They were both two main stereotypes of characters you've seen a million times before. Lugo is the soldier that defies orders, won't take any orders at face value, and he's always arguing with Captain Walker, saying, "Oh, you're wrong to do this and you're wrong to do that." And I just thought, oh god, that's just so lazy writing. Adams, while I liked Adams a little bit because he was kind of sympathetic and he cared about what happened to civilians, and he was a very moral person, always wanted to do the right thing, but also didn't want to piss off Captain Walker and wanted to follow his orders, but was willing to challenge those orders in the correct way, not like Lugo, who just screams at Walker. I also felt that Adams, as always, was a stereotype. He was your typical cool black guy, and it's like, I'd like to see a black character that is not a stereotype, that isn't like ghetto gangster or isn't just comedic. You know, I want some bit of substance would be nice. I don't understand why they have to make stereotypical characters. I find that annoying. Maybe it's just bad writers, I don't know. Yeah, other than that, I mean, I thought the game was just okay. It was meh. It's worth playing for. I wouldn't, advise you to play for the story, because I thought the story was throwaway, to be quite honest. I played much better stories on other games, but it was okay. It's an alright game. It's one of those you pick up cheap, you play through it, you go, yeah, it's alright. Let's play something else. It wasn't the greatest game. It just wasn't really bad either. It was just sort of in the middle. So yeah, that's what I thought of Spec Ops: The Line anyway. As I say, I'm going to play through it a second time, because I do want to make the different decisions. I want to find out what happens, see if it does actually change the ending, or if it gives me a better ending, maybe. I don't know. We'll wait and see. But overall, it was a bit of a shame, really. I was really looking forward to playing the game, so it's a little bit disappointed by the end of it, to be honest. So that's Spec Ops: The Line. Now to the game I finished this morning, which is Max Payne 3. Now this one, all the professional reviews I've seen of it have all said that it's pretty much meh. No one's been that impressed with the game. They all seem to think it's just okay. And I've heard things like criticisms such as, when you're in bullet time, when you come out of bullet time, Max tends to not go behind cover, he just stands out in the open and gets shot. I didn't personally experience that much at all. I don't remember any key moments where that actually happened and affected my gameplay. But if people had that problem, they had that problem. I know that people will, and I think it was, if I remember rightly, TJ Appilaus said that the internal monologue was something that frustrated him because it was kind of annoying after a while. And his friend played the game and it didn't annoy him. I can completely understand why it would annoy you and grind on you, because if you die a lot, which I did quite a lot in this game, and you replay the same part and you have to listen to Max, even though he does change the dialogue, he doesn't always repeat himself, which is good. But to constantly hear him, it could grind on you. Me personally, I absolutely loved it. I thought it was brilliant. I'll be absolutely honest, I thought the game was just absolutely fantastic. It was one of the best games I've played this year so far, if not the best game I've played this year so far. It's absolutely excellent. I love the graphics, I love the music, the sound effects, the guns, the gunplay, the cover system, the characters, the story is absolutely brilliant. Max is fantastic. The guy who does Max, absolutely fantastic actor. I absolutely love the whole cinematic 1930s private detective kind of noir stylings that the game has, and I just love Max's monologue because he's got a really dry, dark sense of humour, and it just makes me laugh so much. Some of the stuff he comes out in the comments are brilliant. There's a really great moment at the beginning of the game where you're in a stadium, and I was in this room in the back of the stadium trying to get through the stadium and I'm in this room and I'm looking around trying to find painkillers, and your mate Passos, who's on the headset, is talking to you, and it's all quiet, and I'm looking for these painkillers, and all I hear is Passos go, "Max, what are you doing? Keep going." And Max just goes, "I don't know, maybe I'm looking for something." And I was just that is brilliant. It was as if Max, the character, was looking at me, the player, going, well, come on then, do something. I'm going to get shot. And I thought that was brilliant. I love that kind of dialogue. I just thought the game was brilliant. The settings were brilliant. The favelas in Brazil are hard as hell. I mean, I had so much grief trying to get through them, but it was just so much fun. It was absolutely brilliant. There's some really great settings. The gameplay I put up recently, where you're going through the swamps, is fantastic. One of my favourite sections was a very small section where you're in Rodrigo Bronco's office, and you're just running through the office and you bullet timing and shooting everything, and there's glass flying, and there's papers flying everywhere, and there's people dying, and it's just absolutely bloody brilliant. I absolutely love this game. Max Payne 3 is one of the best games. It's just superb. I think Rockstar did it again. They did a great job. I know some people have said that it's an interactive movie, and it pretty much is, yeah. But there is a lot more gameplay than what that implies. An interactive movie, to me, is more like Heavy Rain, where it's, you know, all quick time moments and things. You do play a lot of this game, and you control Max completely, and it is a fantastic game. I would highly recommend playing it through. Definitely don't skip any of the story. Just immerse yourself in the world of Max Payne and enjoy the story for what it is. And you know, the characters are fantastic. They're so well written and so well portrayed by the actors. You know, as opposed to Spec Ops: The Line, they've really done a fantastic job with Max Payne. And I'm actually, without a doubt, and it's not the end of the generation yet. We've still got a year or two till the end of this generation. And for me, without a doubt, Max Payne 3 is in my top 5 of this generation, along with Uncharted 2, Heavy Rain, Alan Wake. What else have I got? That's 4, and there was one more which I can't remember the bloody name of. What was the other game? I did remember what the other game was. That's really annoying. But Heavy Rain, Uncharted 2, Max Payne 3, Alan Wake. What was the other game? Damn, that's annoying. There was something else that I played this generation which oh yeah, of course, Grand Theft Auto 4. That was the 5th game. So those are my 5 games of this generation. In no particular order, because they're all just absolutely amazing games with fantastic stories, great characters, fantastic gameplay. But yeah, I absolutely adore Max Payne 3. Brilliant game. Love it to bits. And if you're on the fence about buying it, just pick it up and play it. It's brilliant. You don't need to have played the first 2 games either. It only alludes to the first 2 games a little bit in certain sections, and you don't really need to know what happened in the past, to be honest. I don't think it will make any difference if you went in and just played this as your first Max Payne experience. It's just bloody brilliant. As far as I'm aware, from what I understand, this one was made in-house by Rockstar as well. It wasn't made by Remedy, who made the original 2 games. So that, when I first heard that, I was a bit sceptical as to whether they would pull it off, but I shouldn't have been, because it's an absolutely stunning game. I love it. I think it's a brilliant game, and I hope they make Max Payne 4, because I had so much fun playing the game. The interesting thing with this game, as I found, was there were a lot of sections where I repeated myself 4, 5, 6 times in order to get through the section. But the reason I was dying was my own fault. It wasn't the game's fault. The game's perfectly built. It's just that I wasn't attacking the situation correctly. I wasn't thinking on my feet and using bullet time in the right places, and I wasn't moving fast enough, and I was getting gunned down, and I'd have to start again. And while I was getting annoyed a little bit, because I was like, for Christ's sake, why am I doing that? Once it clicked and I realised what I'd done wrong and I altered my approach, it was just fantastic. The gunplay is so pleasurable. It really gives you a lot of pleasure when you get a section or a sequence right, and you're in slow-mo and you're walking along and you go bam 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 bam, you're taking them all down, you take cover and you reload, jump back up. Absolutely great. There's nothing like it. It just makes you feel like a real badass action hero. And it's a bloody brilliant game. I love the fact that the story goes back and forth through timescales as well. So you go back to like New York, where Max is in the bar and it's all snowing, and it just looks beautiful. It's just so well done. And then, you know, as I say, Brazil. The hardest part for me was Brazil. The favelas. The favela in particular in video games is a hard thing to do, because it's such a tight, small environment, and it literally, you're walking up steps and you just don't know where the Brazilian enemies are going to come from. They just burst out the doors, they come running along gangways, they're up on top of buildings, and you're just going, shit, where have we been shot from, what's going on, and you're just panicking and trying to take cover, and it's just absolutely brilliant. Love it. So yeah, I would say, if you're on the fence about both of these games, like I was for a bit, and you're not too sure what to do, I'd buy Spec Ops: The Line when it's really cheap. Get it for like a tenner. It's not really worth more than £10, I don't think, just to play through, see what you think. You might enjoy it. You know, it kills a couple of hours if you want to play a third-person shooter, or if you want to play a really quality third-person shooter with a fantastic story, brilliant characters, some absolutely stunning acting from the guy that plays Max Payne, whose name I can't remember, and just just really witty, dark, hilariously funny humour, fantastic action, great gameplay. Go and pick up Max Payne 3. I would honestly say, even though I'm waiting for this to drop in price because I don't like to pay full price anymore, because there really isn't any point because games drop so quickly, this game is well worth £40 or $60 without a doubt. It's just an absolute masterpiece, and it just shows you why Rockstar have the reputation that they have, because they are one of the best developers in the industry. They're just absolute geniuses, and every time a Rockstar game comes out, whether it's developed by Rockstar or just published by Rockstar and developed by someone else, there's always that seal of quality. You always think that even if the game's not developed by Rockstar, if they're publishing it, you feel as though they've been keeping a watchful eye on the game to make sure that it comes out in its perfection. LA Noire was probably the only fall they've had, and LA Noire was a fantastic game, but for me there were certain things that were just unforgivable, really stupid minor gameplay issues which shouldn't have been there, which was a shame because the actual game was brilliant, the story was brilliant. But yeah, that's another thing anyway. But yeah, go and play Max Payne 3, you'll love it, it's bloody brilliant. Play Spec Ops The Line just because, what the hell, it just fills a bit of time, and it's just an okay game. So that's my opinions on Spec Ops The Line and Max Payne 3. Be interested to see what you guys think. If you played either of those games or both of those games, let me know what you think. And yeah, thank you for watching. See you all again soon.